All right, so hey guys, Demo here. I'm in the garage. It's been a minute. I take a little vacation and some family stuff had happened, etc. Right. So I've done a few things too off camera. So I'm about to update and then get to doing more stuff as I update. Um, at the moment, I'm in the process of finishing up cleaning the cylinder heads and a little soft piece to the mic that came off. There we go. I hope that didn't make much noise for y'all. But yeah, I'm in the process of cleaning these cylinder heads. They're pretty dang shiny now compared to how they started. I'm doing the valves inside. So to do such, we need brake parts cleaner and plenty of toothbrushes. 6 pack for $1. Fine. All right. I've already went through all of them. I'm about to go through another few of them. There we go. So basically, at this point in the build process, I am cleaning and prepping to reassemble. I have the gaskets and stuff. Um, we're doing this. You also want to cover the valves a little bit, keep from splashing yourself with the brake parts cleaner that's in there. But yeah, so at this point, getting the internals and stuff on the motor clean, nice and decarbed, etc. And then I'll start cleaning on the block, get the piston heads all shiny and clean too, and flip the motor over, degrease the whole block, and then I'll start to reassemble. So by the end of the day, I think I at least want the heads mounted on the block, um, which isn't an impossible feat at all. Now, I do still have to swap the new cams into the new heads after I'm done getting them clean and all shiny like and ready for cams and use. So there's that process there too. But in the meantime, I'm just cleaning out these valves. So the goal is to be putting out. Yep, my mic died. Voiceover time. The goal is to get everything shiny without damaging the block or any gasket surfaces, and then get the motor put back together. Because it's aluminum block and heads, ideally, we don't want to use any solvents that are abrasive or any solutions that may tarnish or corrode portions of the block because it is a more sensitive metal. You want to avoid using stuff like oven cleaner or what's that? Super purple. Those more abrasive degreasers and solvents will damage your block, and no one wants to damage their block. That's usually not in the plans. Take your time. It won't be a fun one-day job. That's a fact. I did it, and it does not take one day. Each part will take a minimum of a few hours to get done, clean, and really nice, unless you have like some super tools or something. Even with using power tools, it's still going to take you a few hours a piece if you're doing a real diligent job and getting your motor clean how you want it to get it cleaned and all shiny. So take your time, be patient, put some music on, enjoy your work restoring your motor back to its shiny new self, as I did. It was really fun, it's very satisfying, and I'll name off some of the materials you'll need here in a second. Here I'm going to go ahead and show you the valves. This is after a good amount of brushing and spraying and then brushing and then spraying again and then doing some more brushing and then spraying again. And you can see in there, you see like that little bit of purple and those little bits of like toothbrush in there, and then there's some blue coming up and that one to the right. So when you're doing this, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna go ahead and spray, scrub, dump, spray, scrub, dump, spray, scrub, dump until you get as much of the carbon off. And now you can see the shiny valves, right? There's still a few with some carbon cover, like that one there. and there's two others on there. But for the most part, you're looking for the shiny, brass-looking color of the valves. The same color as the bottom end. You want it. It's the same color on the top. So you should be looking for that color inside. Now let's go over the materials that I use to get this type of look. To do this, clean on the engine head, clean on the cylinder heads and the engine block, you will need engine degreaser, brake parts cleaner. I just bought it from Walmart. A few razor blades. I only use like 2 because you're not going to use it a lot. You're only going to use it towards the ends of stuff when you're trying to get like that small little bit of gasket off of it, and maybe a bit on these valves themselves to get some of that carbon off. A 2000 grit sanding block. Firm toothbrushes. I bought 12. 2 6-packs, $1 a pack. A drill with a detailing brush. I might have seen it in the background there. And then a pack of copper-coated scrubbing pads, and that's going to be used to scrub out that area around the valves and even some parts of the block if you need to. And you don't want to be too aggressive with it because it can scratch block surfaces. So definitely be careful of that. Speaking of the block and block surfaces, these are the piston heads, and that's just literally some brake parts cleaner, and I sprayed it, and then I wiped it with a towel. Hadn't even used a wire brush on it yet, so the carbon was coming off pretty easily on parts of this engine, which may not be everybody's luck, but it was my luck, which I'm cool with. Overall, a very healthy 4-valve motor that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace, and at this point, I'm going to transition from working on the cylinder heads to moving around and working on that engine block. I did spray some more engine degreaser and some more brake parts cleaner in those passageways towards the valves, so that they can go ahead and break up a little bit more of that carbon that's left at the bottom. But now we're going to go ahead and flip this motor over, get the oil pan off, and then start cleaning on these piston heads. So now with the motor tilted to its side, I'm going to go ahead and vacuum out any loose debris or dirt or anything that could get down between the piston heads and around the rings and bearings in there. Because we don't want that. We don't want anything falling down and scratching up inside that block. We don't need that. We don't want that. So we vacuum out the space, and then I'll go ahead and get to cleaning off the carbon or anything else off the piston heads, and we'll talk about that process here in a moment. So here we are again. My voice in the background. I am your conscience. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about what's going on here in the video. Now, next you'll see me using this PB Blaster lithium grease. We'll need whatever type of lithium grease, lubricant, engine oil that you can probably get a hold of. I wouldn't specifically say like actual engine oil, but it might work. But I'm using PB lithium grease, and I'm using the foaming style, and here's why. At this angle it'll show you better, but you see that lithium grease that I've spread around, it fills those grooves around the piston head, and in that way, any scrubbing that I do, any carbon that's left over, any residual dirt or debris or anything like that gets caught in the lithium grease, the foam part of it, and it doesn't fall down in that groove. So that way when I do lower this piston head again, any debris doesn't fall down and get around that piston and scratch up anything. You don't want to mess up in your rings, you don't want any dirt or gravel down in there scratching up the block. You just don't want them problems. So, very important step in protecting our engines here. Get you some lithium grease or some type of foaming oil, engine penetrating oil of sorts. PB Blaster is great, all the stuff I bought from Walmart. And you will very simply surround the piston head and then make sure it gets off in the groove. Then you'll spray your carb cleaner or your brake parts cleaner or whatever you choose to use on your piston, and you'll go in that really nicely, not too aggressive but aggressive manner, and get that carbon off of there. And lastly, after you get all that carbon scrubbed, you'll simply wipe it away, right? And then you'll wipe away any of that oil and move on to the next piston. We finished the first two piston heads. We rotate the motor a little bit, wipe out that lithium ring before putting the piston all the way down, and then we get the next tube up to center. And literally, it's a spray, rinse, repeat process. So now you're going to do that same thing for the next 6 pistons. Talking, and I was really just complaining about mosquitoes and their existence and how aggressive they are in Texas. But otherwise, what I'm doing is pretty straightforward. So I just kind of time-lapsed it a little bit and left some nice garage sounds in for you guys. Listen to the fan and the pop of each of those bolts breaking, etc.
Why did the bounce? So that bolt just bounced from there, hit the carpet, the cardboard, and then bounced right into the oil pan and into that cup of other bolts for that oil pan. So I'm not gonna go fishing. I'll find that mug later. Back to taking these off. this stuff in this one pickup too. I'll show a video later. It was like decent enough to play. I'll give it to you. I got my own $2. So let's take this off and play it. It isn't short. I think the short is going to be fixed best. It's going to be that's a one. But I am back out here, spraying it down with a little bit more degreaser. We're gonna see how well this works. Honestly, I don't think I was supposed to let the first round of degreaser dry, but we're not gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it and wipe it, and then I'll rinse the whole engine off. Here a little bit, but microfiber plus that degreaser, man, this engine sharp. I mean, it's doing the job, man. I'm literally just wiping this gasket off. Yeah. Which was the plan? Because I couldn't find the it's recommended that you use these things called like plastic razor blades instead of regular razor blades to avoid nicking the surfaces. But I couldn't find them, so I was like, we're gonna figure out a way, and then I'll go over with like a little sand block and a wire brush and get the rest of the stuff off that I don't just wipe off. But let me tell you though, these mosquitoes in my area, well, this is Texas in general, the most disrespectful creatures. I know, so disrespectful. Just looks like the videos inside the light. Make sure that seal is right, huh?
there's a lot of progress in the cleaning of these surfaces. The oil pan gasket surfaces were currently, and now I'm working on the timing chain gasket surface. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that in there too. No editing. That's hilarious. Nonetheless, the materials you'll need for this, I mean, very simple. The degreaser that I'm using is Zep, bought from Walmart. I mixed it. It's a 60-40 mix. If you buy the big jug and then mix it in your kitchen, it's a lot cheaper. And then you have degreaser for a while. That's one thing. And then two, the brake parts cleaner, microfiber towel. I used regular razor blades, but it's only because I didn't use them a lot. I only used it for like the edges where I had to get really serious RTV off the corner surfaces or whatever. But mostly the wire brush, microfiber towel, brake parts cleaner, and degreaser. Those are the primary tools that you'll need to get this type of clean. And you don't have to take it to service or like a machine shop. I didn't do that. I didn't do that at all. Obviously, did it on my girl. And then we spray this black here. This is sand black with some white lithium oil. And then evenly, with little pressure. All little pressure. And this to get the rest of that gasket material off. And then the other imperfections for repairs. And make it even. That's the new surface. Now everything's been wiped off and all the gasket materials out of the way. So just pinched the heck out of my finger. There you go. So now you see that's the gasket surface. Shine some light on it there. Shiny, real shiny. And then I'm gonna do the same sanding thing on the side here too. On these right here. Make sure they're all good. Get all that little extra material off. And then I'll flip the motor over and do the upside, and then I'll rinse the whole engine off and everything, and then I'll reassemble and put the whole the oil pan stuff back on. But making progress. So, in conclusion, guys, using the right materials, you can achieve this result in the garage on your own, no issues. And we'll review the materials one more time. From left to right, we have the toothbrushes. You'll need 2 packs. I bought the firm ones. They were bought at Walmart. Some brake parts cleaner and engine degreaser, and brake parts cleaner. You got the penetrating blaster. It's a nice lubricant. You have the penetrating lithium grease and the white lithium grease, both used when doing the block work and surfaces. We have this awesome copper coated scrubbing pads. I use these mostly on the cylinder heads to get a lot of that good carbon off. And then our wire brushes and some razor blades. That's all I used. Oh, let's not forget the drill. This just makes it look real nice and shiny at the end. But yeah, that's all I used. And we have a block that's ready to be reassembled. So, if you want to do it in your garage, you can. That's what you'll need. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you, guys.